Cool. All right.
You guys got me?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to TPL Live. Today is the Shake Milton preview show. Today, we're going to grade Shake Milton's 2019-2020 season. We're going to talk about areas that he needs to improve, and then we're going to talk about our expectations for Shake Milton next season and beyond. Joining me today is my man, Brock. You know him on Twitter at LandisBrock, part of the Feed to Embiid. What's up, Brock? Oh, he's gone. All right. Also joining us today is my man, Justin. Follow him on Twitter at J_Persecony. What's up, man?
You know, I'm chilling. I'm excited to be here to talk about Shake Milton.
Yeah, that's what we're doing today. You know, we got done doing our Furcam preview. Then we did a Ben Simmons preview, and we're going to keep this train rolling with a Shake Milton preview. Let's talk a little bit about Shake Milton back in 2019-2020. During a season of ups and downs, this was easily kind of the biggest bright spot from last season with the Philadelphia 76ers. Quick note, though, this guy signed a 4-year extension last summer, sprained his ankle during the first Summer League game, lasted only 2 NBA games after spraining his knee, and then Twitter just destroyed this guy. And then you saw Josh Richardson, Ben Simmons go down with injuries in like January, February. Shake Milton was inserted into the starting lineup versus the Lakers and never looked back. This guy averaged 17.9 points as a starter. He shot a ridiculous 51.2% from deep during those final 20 games of the regular season, including ridiculous 39 points versus the Clippers on the road. Was he perfect in the playoffs? Absolutely not. He struggled against Kemba Walker, as expected. He struggled with some decision-making. 14.5 points per game in the playoffs, 40% from deep in the playoffs. That's no joke, guys. And then what more could you ask from a 22-year-old second-round pick on a rookie minimum contract? So Shake Milton showed he could belong in the playoffs, was one of the building blocks of the Sixers moving forward. He's a playmaker when the Sixers seriously lack playmaking. I'm giving Shake an A- from last year. He shined during Ben Simmons' absence. Is he a starter? Is he an off the guy, off the bench point guard? Is he a facilitator without Ben? Is he simply a spot up shooter with Ben? So what his role is moving forward is exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. Brock, you're back. All right,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about Shake Milton last year and how would you grade his performance last season?
Sure. So, Chris, I'm going to take a different approach here. I played less than 45 games, so not much of a sample size in the regular season, at least. I like to see him with a larger sample size. I don't want to grade him based on last year's performance. So what I'm going to do is give him something that I get in college. If you show up to class, if you come on time, if you act like you're trying to pay attention, and you turn your work in on time, you get satisfactory progress reports, which means keep up the great work. No complaints. That's what I'm giving Shake Milton. Look, guys, Shake did fantastic in a limited role last season. He dribbles with purpose, and he has a long wingspan, so offensively and defensively, he can be used in various ways. But what it comes down to is this. There was a 3-month stretch of hot basketball for Shake where his splits were mind-boggling. I mean, his field goal percentage and three-point percentage were almost identical in every month for that 3-month span, and they were all around 50+%. From the back end of February until the stoppage of play due to COVID, he shot 22 of 30 on three-pointers attempted, 9 of 11 on pull-up threes. In that span in the fourth quarter, 80% from beyond the arc, and the second fewest turnovers of 45-plus players with 300 or more touches. So I'll simplify that even further. Shake Milton can shoot the hell out of the basketball. He did it really well last year. His Twitter handle is Sniper Shake, okay? You don't put that in your Twitter handle if you're not about it. So Shake can shoot the ball. He can do it off the dribble. He can do it off the catch and shoot. And like I said, he's got a long wingspan. So defensively, if he puts on a little bit more weight and muscle like he said he has, I think he'll be fantastic as either a six-man or with Ben Simmons or even a Seth Curry. a secondary ball handler, and a primary playmaker. So I'm not giving Shake a grade just yet. I'll say satisfactory, no complaints from me. But 2019 was a very encouraging start for him.
All right, what about you, Justin?
I mean, I agree with both of you. I feel like Shake, to me, surprised me a lot last year. Going into the season, I know they expected him to kind of play that backup PG role. Or that's what Brett was kind of trying to make him do. Early in the season, in what was it, basically preseason, I guess, he was having a hard time in the pick and roll with a lot of turnovers. He was missing a lot of shots, and he kind of ended up having the back burner at the beginning of the season. Ended up coming back real strong. Showed that he was able to be available in the playoffs. He showed out as well as you can, being it your first time in the playoffs. I feel like, being that he shot 40% from three, and I think it was like 47%, I believe, from the field in general in the playoffs. So I saw a lot from him last year. I'm excited to see what he brings this year. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to play a very big role in this team. And being that Doc is sitting there saying that he wants to give him free reign on the offense, I'm really excited to see what happens.
We've got Mike Small joining, the host of the Killing Me Smalls podcast here at the Painted Lines YouTube channel. Check him out and follow Mike Small on Twitter at Real Mike Small. He asked, do you think Shake will be better if they remove his ball handling responsibilities? From everything I've gathered so far, from Doc Rivers to Daryl Morey, like, this guy has been the darling of Sixers training camp so far. They're actually saying they're going to give him more responsibilities. They're going to and actually hold him more accountable on defense. So it's going to be really interesting. I think this one really boils down to who is the more consistent perimeter shooter between Seth Curry and Shake Milton. Any thoughts on that, Brock?
Yeah, I think with Shake, if you give him more freedom and an increased ball handling role, it's an experiment that I'm willing to see. With Shake, the one thing I like is that he dribbles with purpose and he attacks with purpose. And watching some of his film from last year, he really stands out. Like, I was watching and I was like, Shake Milton is a legitimate ball player. When he penetrates, when he drives to the basket, he has really good body control and he keeps his head up. He knows where he's going. So if he's driving, he can make an outlet pass, or not an outlet pass, rather an open pass, or he could take that layup. I don't know if you guys watched my video. I know, Chris, you did. Justin, you said it, so that was stupid. You both watched it. But in comparing the 2020 Sixers to the 2017 Sixers, you might think there's guys that can score multiple levels. You've got Robert Covington. You've got J.J. Redick. Something I found was not only that Shake Milton and Seth Curry were used in the pick and roll more in 2020 than the Sixers used it in 2017 with those players, but Shake Milton drove to the basket more, attempted more field goals, and got more assists on drives to the basket last year than like J.J. Redick and Robert Covington did in 2017. So that indicates to me that Shake is a guy that can use to score at all three levels. I mean, he's fantastic off the catch and shoot, but driving, he's good, and then the pick and roll, he's good. He made 50% of his shots from the pick and roll, which was tied for fifth highest in the NBA for 90 possessions there. So you can use him in various different ways, and I think Doc will do that.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Justin.
Something I like that you said about he dribbles with purpose is you see a lot of guys in the league today, they're taking a lot of time and taking a lot of dribbles to do one thing. And something you notice is with that purpose, it's one dribble, two dribbles, and he's going to a move. And I think that's something that you love to see in somebody who can score with ease and without really having to do a lot. And he's got the length for it. He's got a smooth shot. Yep. And he's got, if something I noticed, he's got amazing balance. And that's one thing that I love watching about him is, and I think a reason why he's so good in the catch and shoot opportunities is because when he gets that ball and he has his feet set, his balance is impeccable and his shot form is just smooth. And you think it's going in every time.
I'm really glad we got to this point too, because I was very blessed. I actually covered the Blue Coats right when Shake started, and I got to see him play in the G League a lot. And watching tape on him at SMU and then at the 76ers Fieldhouse, like, you saw how smooth this guy was facilitating the pick and roll. You saw how crafty he was when he gets into the paint, finishing around the rim. And, that was he got shat on. Like, when you saw him get that contract, when how he looked so rusty and just with a shot, with turnovers during the Sixers Summer League last summer. I was like, guys, wait. Like, they were jumping on Shake. I'm like, this is not the Shake I know and love and have watched him over and over and over again. So I'm glad we're finally like talking about it, because The fact that we're going to get Doc Rivers and more pick and roll in this system is only going to be better for Shake Milton moving forward. But let's go to the other end. Let's talk about areas to improve. I think the obvious answer here, guys, is I want to see a slight improvement on defense. I don't have expectations for Shake to become this like super plus defender, some incredible on-ball defender. I think there were definitely flashes last year where he showed he can defend, but I would like to see him go from like mediocre to like good. And what's really exciting about this is on the other end, Doc Rivers has a legit track record of success coaching guards off the bench. Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, 4 Sixth Man of the Year awards during his time in LA. And you said it, Justin. Doc wants to see Shake become more a focal point, more responsibility on offense and on defense. Worst case scenario, guys, though, like we have Matisse and Tyrese Maxey coming in that can kind of like shore up those defensive liabilities. But lastly, I want to see Shake continue to grow his ability to run the pick and roll. 173 pick and roll possessions that included passes last year. Milton averaged 0.994 points per possession, good for 67th percentile per synergy. That ability to run the pick and roll with Ben Simmons, baby, that is the ticket. Work on the pick and roll, get Embiid the ball in better spots in the paint. That's what I want to see from Shake. You're up, Brock.
So what I'll say about the defense is that Doc Rivers talked about having a defensive identity. He's not going to implement an identity because he wants the players to buy into an identity they could create. And how do they create that? With their defense. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. It doesn't start with Shake Milton. It starts with those two. If Philadelphia creates a good defensive identity, the more players in the roster can buy in. A player like Shake Milton is perfect to buy into that opportunity. The thing about Philadelphia is they have so much multi-positional flexibility that Shake Milton won't always be defending the toughest guard on the floor. You might have a 6'10" Ben Simmons defending a 6'4" point guard that normally Shake Milton would have to defend, which would put him at the 2 or the 3 in that scenario. So I think Shake does need to hit the weight room and bulk up. Now, he said he was around 205, and he's about 217 now.
Let's go.
Of course, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself and say he's going to win Defense Player of the Year, but that's a good weight game for a player like him because now he can play that 2 or that 3, and he has the wingspan to defend a couple of positions. So defensively, if he puts on a little bit more weight and stays solid, he'll be able to hang with some of the big dogs. But like I said, he won't have that great of a defensive responsibility. To your point, Chris, the pick and roll, this is something where Shake has always looked fundamentally sound in, but something I'm really excited to see. I'm curious to know what his role is going to be because Philadelphia has so many options to run in the two-man game. You've got Joel and Ben Simmons in the pick and roll situation. Now you can have Ben Simmons screening for Milton or Maxey. So for Shake Milton, I really want to see how he does in a two-man game with somebody like Ben Simmons setting screen, how he comes off of that screen and maybe finds Ben Simmons. Josh Richardson did that well with Ben for a little. So just a little more fluidity passing the ball and pick and rolls. And then I think Shake will be golden, maybe an MIP or a six-man candidate.
You're up, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, some things that obviously you can improve on. Obviously, you already covered it, defense. I think another thing that I would love to see a little bit more of because the Sixers kind of lack it at the guard position is some contact at the rim. Because, I mean, Ben, we hope to see that out of Ben this year. But Shake Milton as well, he's been shown to be really crafty around the rim. And if he can learn to take some contact, even with that added muscle, I think that's going to be amazing considering he can already make contested shots around the rim already. So I think that added weight is going to help him there. Defensively, I got to see a little bit more lateral quickness. That's one thing that worries me a little bit about with the weight gain is I'm really wondering how that's going to affect him. But also to your guys' point, we do have a lot of defense on this team. And this is the first year in the draft where I think we didn't take somebody who was supposed to be in recent drafts, I should say, who's supposed to be some really good defender. Obviously, Isaiah Joe, we don't know what he's going to turn into. And Tyrese Maxey as well can play defense, but they're all can play multiple positions. So I think if Shake's on the court, they're going to, no matter what, be able to surround them by good defenders. Basically, every single play, you're going to have a big man down below you that can block a shot. So we can take chances a little bit on the perimeter, which I'm excited about.
It's all about getting Ben and Joel in better positions to succeed. That is what I want to see Shake get better at. I want to see Ben get the ball down near the rim. I want to see Joel get the ball down near the rim, and just put him in situations to succeed in the pick and roll. Nothing But Sixers asks, thanks for joining. Please subscribe. What do you guys think of Tyrese Maxey's potential? That is a really very good question. I think the difference is next year versus 2 to 3 years down the road. Shake Milton is actually an interesting mentor for Tyrese Maxey, because what Tyrese Maxey does, he actually gives you some pick and roll potential down the line. And I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like. But next year, I don't think we know yet exactly what kind of shooter he is, first and foremost, to be able to kind of stick in a lineup with like Ben or Joel. But it really comes down to his defense. I think Tyrese Maxey's defense potential is outstanding. I don't see Tyrese Maxey being a major impact player this year. Hopefully, we'll see kind of a slow, elevator trend of playing time for Tyrese Maxey as the season progresses. But in terms of like defensive situations, Maxey's a dog on defense, man. And that's where I see him making his impact next season. What about you, Rock?
Yeah, there's a really good trend of Kentucky ball players succeeding at the next level, and I love that Philadelphia was able to draft one. With Maxey, I know Mike Schmidt said that if there was a redraft, he would probably be a top 10 pick, which bodes well for Philadelphia because that indicates he's going to have a good season. Some people have alluded to the fact that Doc Rivers may not play first-round players, but SGA and Landry Shamet in their rookie seasons in Los Angeles both played over 20 minutes a game. If the talent is there, Doc will find minutes. It's tough to really say because I know Jason, he's been talking to some people on Twitter. He hasn't seen anybody in the gym. We didn't have March Madness. You can't watch guys practice, so it's tough to determine what the potential is right now. But there's two things I love about Maxey: what I see on film and his work ethic. And if those things translate at the next level, I think his potential is really high. Chris, you took the words right out of my mouth. Defensively, he's a dog. On offense, a beautiful complement transition for a player like Ben and Joel. He has the potential to be a floor spacer. I don't think that 29% three-point shooting is a true indication of what he could do with the ball. And his first step is the thing that stands out the most to me on film. It's a rapid first step. It's so quick. And if that translates to the next level, it's going to be really tough to defend him off the dribble or when he has the basketball stationary about to move. So I think Maxey's potential is very high.
We're going to throw this question to Justin, and then Jason's also just joined us, and we already kind of touched on his kind of previous season and then areas to improve, and we'll throw it to first Justin and then Jason. You're up, Justin.
I just lost my train of thought listening to Brock talk. So one thing
the last guy asked the question I was going to ask.
Well, one thing I wanted to say is that about his outside shooting, and I know Jason's touched on this in previous videos, is that his free throw percentage shows that he does have a repeatable motion, and that 29% may not be exactly what we're going to see in the NBA. So it shows that it's very possible that he can shoot with some range. And if you've been paying attention to his trainer outside, if you're looking on Instagram or anything like that, he is looking pretty good, and he's hanging out with Rondo over there. So hoping he comes in with a nice high IQ and a good shot. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Jason, you're up. How would you grade Shake Milton's 2019-2020 season, and what are your quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think his season was fascinating because he was more of an off-ball guy his rookie year while he was coming back from an injury late in his college season. In Summer League, I think we forget Summer League 2019, they handed the keys to him as point guard, and it was really rough. So I think a lot of people were very worried when they signed that 4-year contract with him, and then he struggled at Summer League. But you go through the season, and he had some major highlights. None bigger than the Clippers game against Doc Rivers in LA. The thing about Shake is he operates at a certain pace that some teams that are ultra aggressive can attack that, and things can go on tilt a little bit. But he's gotten used to that and he's progressed month over month. He's gotten better. He's a high IQ guy. He's a thoughtful guy. He's just a very focused player, very mature player. And I think when you look at the numbers, they're really good. I haven't brought it up yet for this, but shot over 40% from three, even as a ball handler, which is really good. You typically see those guys are off ball guys, but he can operate off ball. He can operate as a ball handler. He can run the pick and roll. He showed a lot of the elements you want to see. And adding lower body muscle and a little bit of burst is going to really help him on the defensive end. It's going to really help him as a initiator of offense. So, I think for me, he took a pretty major leap, having watched him in the G League to his second year. Pretty major leap. And there's no real reason to worry that he's got physical limitations or maturity issues or any of the things that can derail someone's progress. So I think the future is bright for him.
What grade would you give him? I gave him an A-. Brock gave him an incomplete, essentially.
Satisfactory.
A passing grade.
College product.
Austin, what grade did you give Shake? I forget.
I didn't really give him a grade. I mean, I'll give him a B+. I mean, he had a great season last year, but I'm kind of like Brock as well. I need to see more. I need to see what happens this year. I need to see if there's more growth or if it's able to be consistent. Because, like Brock also said, last year it was a very kind of low volume sample of what may be to come. So I'm excited to see what this season he comes out with in the beginning.
What about you, Jason? How would you grade Shake last year?
To me, I would give him a B. So I'm probably more complimentary to him with what I'm saying, but I maybe have bigger expectations than other folks. So to me, it's a B. Let's see. He played 40 games. He started 24 games, right? Mm-hmm. But the efficiency is there. I think he got blitzed a few times where he went on tilt, and so that keeps me from giving him an A.
I mean, I will say about Shake Milton that Philadelphia is paying out about $1.7 or $1.9 million annually to him through 2023. So he's most definitely on pace to outperform that. And if he does, then it's a great value contract. I looked, there was 104 players that played 40-plus games but had a usage of 20% or less. Shake was one of them. Of those 104, he had the fourth best offensive rating and the eighth highest true shooting percentage. To Jason's point, the efficiency is there. In terms of catch and shoot, there was 341 players with 110 or less threes off the catch and shoot. Shake Milton had the third most, 47. And his three-point shooting percentage was over 40%. He had a jump from about 33 to 40+%. That's a huge progress right there, a huge leap in progress right there. Jason, you make an awesome point. He doesn't have any of those problems that will blunder his progress. So in my opinion, I do think it's too small of a sample size to give him a grade. That's why I said satisfactory. But I do think he's most definitely going to outperform his contract. And I think eventually he could legitimately be a candidate for sixth man or most improved if he continues on this trajectory. He also did his press conference in a Montclair bubble coat. So that's a win for him. It's a win for the brand. It's a win for the Sixers, the culture, everything. I love it.
All right, Jason, we already did our areas to improve for Shake. What are some areas that Shake Milton can develop further?
Yeah, it's really simple for me with him. And from the first conversation he and I had during G League training camp as a rookie, he talked about lower body strength and explosion. And you got to think about his frame. He's a 6'6" guy with a 7-foot wingspan. If he is physically explosive, you're talking about an all-star level player. But Shake has broad shoulders, but has historically been thin below the waist. So you just, you know, his frame is built so that he has not been an explosive player. If he adds that, and literally from the first conversation we've had, he's talked about this, so he knows it's a thing. If he adds that, he just becomes a completely different player. That's the piece that I would say is the fixable piece. If that happens, and he can react quicker when somebody blitzes him, his turnover ratio goes down, his ability to turn the corner on guys goes up. It just has so many impacts, right? His ability to defend laterally completely changes. His frame is there to be a great defender. His speed hasn't been there to be a great defender yet. So for me, it's like really simple. It's do you build those muscles? Do you gain that speed, or do you not? That's the thing.
And it seems like he's doing everything he can to gain that speed and gain that muscle mass. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Jonathan Himes, thanks for joining, dude. John says, you don't really think Shane gained 14 pounds of muscle in 2 months, do you? Anyone question that?
I wonder where is he relating that to his weigh-in at training camp in 2019? Because that's the last time we got official measurements.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that's a year over year, not a since the Orlando bubble. Because I doubt they weighed in for the bubble. Yeah. They weigh in. They get measured at training camp.
All right. Jack Mills says, I'm not as high on Shake as a lot of people. I think everyone here is pretty curious to see what Shake's role is going to be on the court this year. Nothing But Sixer says, how do you know that he started working out 2 months ago? He could have been working out for a few months now. I mean, we don't know. We don't.
I've been seeing this and reading, and I'm going to use some personal anecdotes here just because I've been weightlifting for some time now.
Are you sure? You sure?
I don't know about that.
You're a little tight on me.
I don't know. You're looking skinny.
The one who gained 14 pounds of muscle for sure.
Yeah, I've been training Shake. I mean, I think Jason makes a great point. It was probably a year-over-year gain, but to say that he went from 205 to 217 in a span of 2 months of pure muscle, it's just not believable. That's just not the way the body works naturally. But I do think that Shake is a little heavier. I think he put on weight, and if he's speaking on a year-to-year basis, it's definitely true. 2 month basis, then there's a little bit of room for error, but otherwise, I still think Shake's been putting on some weight.
Nick Schlosser says, do you think Isaiah Joe will replace Korkmaz? I really recommend you go check out our Furkan Korkmaz player preview. We kind of dove into that a little bit in terms of what Furkan's role is going to be. Checked out here at the Painted Lines YouTube channel. We did that like a few days ago. Great pod.
Brandon Turkey is strong. We've got a strong Brandon.
You're not lying, bro. You're not lying. I think Shake.
That's why we picked him first, by the way. not a lie. Dibs and I, we discussed it. We said we got to give the people in Turkey some content.
What they want. Yeah.
All right, we're already 20 minutes in. Let's go into our expectations for 2021. We said it. Like, this guy has been the darling of Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers these last couple of weeks. But you look at expectations, there's a lot to like. Like, first up, he's on a team-friendly deal that runs through 2022, 2023. Second up, he's a clear fit in Doc Rivers' system from a catch and shoot perspective. I know his shooting numbers were like super elevated this year, and they're probably like a little higher than the mean that we can expect moving forward. But like, this guy has thrived in the catch and shoot from the SMU to the Blue Coats to the last year. So it's not like an anomaly that this guy's shooting 46% in the catch and shoot, which is 96th percentile last season. You look at 2015, 45.5% in the catch and shoot, 95th percentile. 2016, 44%, 90th. 2017 at SMU, 43.9%. You look at the Blue Coats, he shot 44.7%. So you look at all those stats. Shake Milton knocked down 43.5% on his 2.7 3-pointers per game off 0 dribbles. Number one, that drops down from 35.7 to 1 dribble, and then 33.3 to 2 dribbles. What does that mean? It means that he's a damn near perfect fit next to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Cat and shoot, baby. And then you get to the pick and roll perspective. This guy just truly shines. So Jason, we saw this guy at the 76ers Fieldhouse. That was like the main takeaway. This guy really thrives just creating, playmaking, and facilitating the pick and roll. So in Doc Rivers' system, they're expected to run a quicker pace. They're expected to run more pick and roll, especially in the half-court set, whether it's on ball, facilitating the pick and roll, pushing the tempo, or playing off ball, thriving the catch and shoot, spacing the floor, cutting to the basket. Like Shake is for real guys. Like this guy's ability to be so versatile on offense, I think is the real deal. My expectations for Shake next year are really high. So sorry, Jack. I'm actually really high on Shake. Lead us off, Jason.
So, yeah, I think when you look at what to expect, and I talked to Seth Curry yesterday morning about this, the first thing you should do is say, okay, this player, who does he fit on the floor with in a personnel package? Does he fit with Joel Embiid? Does he fit with Ben Simmons? Like, what's the skill set that he brings? How complementary is it? What 5-man groupings would you put him in? And just like Seth, and we'll go into a Seth video like this, I'm sure, Shake fits with everyone. He fits with everyone. So now you're saying, okay, now this is instead of a 20-minute per game guy last year, you're now probably looking at a 30-minute per game person because he has complementary skills to all of your other main pieces. So I think what you're going to see is a big increase in minutes played, and you're probably going to see a slight drop off because as he starts to have more of these 30-point games, these explosion games, he's going to be in the opposing team's game plan. Mm-hmm. And what I would really look at is over that first 10 games, who's guarding Shake Milton? Are they hiding their worst defender against him? Or are they starting to put, you name a team, but are they starting to put their like defensive stoppers, their second or best wing defender against him? That will tell you what other teams think about him, but it will also probably impact as he starts to really make teams pay for trying to hide a guy against him. It will impact the team in many different ways. So if you are the Celtics and you throw Marcus Smart on Shake Milton, that tells you a lot. Now, will that impact Shake's efficiency and his raw output? Yes. But the fact that Marcus Smart is being tied up by Shake Milton, does that have a net positive impact on the other guys on the team? Does that allow Seth Curry to turn the corner? Does that allow Ben Simmons to get downhill more? I think you're going to see that having him out there more often, even if he doesn't look as efficient as he did last year, might have a more positive impact on the team. So I think you have to look at this in a few different ways, but personnel groupings and who he helps is a huge one.
All right, you're up, Dustin. Go.
Something I want to say with that is it kind of bounces off what you're saying, how having him on there who can complement anybody on the team basically, and having as many more shooters as we're bringing onto the team this year is going to help the spacing even more. And yes, it's possible that he could have better defenders on him depending on how other teams view him. But even with that, also like you said, it is very possible that it's going to help everybody on the team. We could have a lineup like him and Seth Curry on the court at the same time, and imagine that lineup. Imagine something like in the playoffs when we have Joel Embiid in the post and Marcus Smart at one point, if I'm remembering correctly, was on Shake Milton. He went to double and help down low with Daniel Tice, and Shake just hit a 3 on him because out of Embiid's pass out. So there's a lot of different things that are going to look really good this year, I think, especially with all the catch and shoot shooters we have. If Embiid's in the post and we have Shake, Seth, Green, and Tobias out there around him, that's tell me the last. I don't even think 2017 had that many good shooters that you could put around him.
Yeah. Like All right, Brock, what are your expectations for this guy next year, man?
Sure. And to Justin's point, the roster is completely different, right? And three-point shooting dictates everything Philadelphia can do offensively. Whereas last season, you've got a couple of clunky fits that kind of negate running dribble handoffs, and you don't have a true backup center to kind of utilize in a pick and roll situation. Philadelphia is catering to their talent. So I'd argue the second most important addition to Philadelphia in this offseason behind Daryl Morey was the coaching staff overhaul. And I say that because Doc Rivers is going to implement an offense that has dribble handoffs, that has more drives to the basket, that has an emphasis on the pick and roll. And when I look at the pick and roll, there's a ton of combinations that Philadelphia can use, and a lot of them involve Shake Milton. I said it earlier in the show, but the Ben Simmons Shake Milton two-man game is something I'm really excited to see. There was only a 4-game span in the month of January where Brett Brown featured Ben Simmons as a screener and Richardson was the ball handler. And during that 4-game span, Richardson had 19 assists and 13 of them went to Ben Simmons. Simmons shot over 70% as a roll man. So you can utilize Shake in that situation with Ben as a roll man, but Shake can shoot too, which means there's more defensive attention on him. So defenses have to adjust and play to both the roll and the shot. If you use Shake in the second unit too, you now have Dwight Howard, who's one of the most skilled roll men in the NBA in the past decade. Very efficient there. So you can use Shake in a ton of different combinations in the pick and roll, and that's what I think Philadelphia is going to do. So Doc Rivers said he has more freedom and he'll have more ball handling and defensive responsibilities, and I think he will. And that's right. That's the right decision. You give Shake a shot there, and I think he's going to do well in that situation.
Nothing But Sixers says, I just want to say this is a great video. Enjoying the content. I like the facts. I've never heard some of these stats before. I subscribed. Woo! Thank you.
That makes us feel good. Appreciate that.
That made my day. That made my day. JB Live says, if you can shoot 40% consistent on an average 10-plus points and hold his own defensively, I'm happy. I think we can all agree to that. We'll talk about
I want a little more than 10 plus 10.
Yeah,
I'm going to say I want a little more than that.
we'll talk about it.
No, but I think the defense is the key. Like, his playtime will be dictated on whether or not other teams think they can hunt him on defense. Because if you look at Bellinelli, you go back to that 2017, JB, appreciate that comment. Bellinelli was exactly the kind of guy that could get hot, but could also be hunted on the other end. You felt like you had to cover up for him. If he's a credible defender and a plus defender or even average, then you can play him with Seth Curry on the floor at the same time. And that just completely changes the offensive options for this team in a half court. And as Joel Embiid said yesterday, I think in answer to my question, if you aren't a good half court offense, you're not going anywhere. So his ability to defend his man frees up more minutes for Seth Curry to be on the floor with him, which just gives more and more weapons for Embiid and Simmons. Yep. It's huge.
All right. Before we get into stat predictions for next year, let's do a yes or no. Is Shake Milton starting game 1 the regular season? What about you, Brock? Yes or no?
No. It's a no for me, dog.
What about you, Justin?
I don't think so. Based on all the rumors, I think he's probably going to be playing 6-man role.
What about you, Jason?
I am a firm yes. I believe he will start game 1. The reason is I think they want to have as much continuity and build chemistry over time. But I think they're going to want to have guys that Ben and Joel are used to playing with early in the season. So I think he will start game 1.
Do you think though that that's going to matter as much, being that if you put a guy like Seth or Danny out there, they're pretty much, Seth. I think Seth and Danny are going to do a lot, but at least in the beginning, considering they're both really good catch and shoot guys, I think anybody can go out there and play with them.
Yeah, but I think on the defensive end, communication is the whole thing, and I think that's going to take some time.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And Danny Green, remember Danny Green, not with the team, can't be with the team for a few more days until that trade is finalized.
Yeah.
So he's going to have even less time to work with these guys. So,
all right, let's.
He's a starter on game 1. Is he a starter in game 30? I don't know.
Let's do some over-unders on stats real quick. He averaged 9.4 points per game in 20 minutes per game last season. Over-under, let's do 10.5 points. You're up, Brock.
I'm going to say over. Increased volume, more minutes, higher usage, more shots. Better players around him. I'm going to say over.
What about you, Justin?
Definitely over. I don't even think it needs to be talked about much. I think he's going to get a lot more usage this year, especially if he's playing that point guard role off the bench. So we'll see what happens with it.
Jason?
I think it's really an easy over. Scored 17 points per 36 last year. I think he's going to be in the 32 minutes per game range. So, 13, 14 points a game is where I see him.
All right, let's go to 3-point percentage. He shot 43% last year. Let's do the over-under 42.5. Brock.
I'll say over. I'll be generous on that.
Love it. What about you, Justin?
I mean, that it's tough because 3-point percentages you really never know. It's really hard, especially for somebody who's pretty new to getting this many shots per game. So I'm going to say over, but it's a very timid over. I hope it's over.
That was more of my thought process too. I hope it's over, but cautiously optimistic. There's more film on him, and Jason made a good point earlier. The more often he drops 30-point plus games, the more often he'll be included in defensive game plans.
Jason.
I'll go under. I'm not going to ever go over on a 42.5%, even for Seth Curry. Maybe Clay, I would go over that, but no, I'm going to say under. If he shoots 40.5%, you should be thrilled.
You should tell Shake that. Be like, listen, I don't think you're shooting over this percentage, and then see if he does it. See if he proves you wrong.
All right, let's do I guess final thoughts on Shake Milton. Like, Jason, this is what it's all about, bro. This is what it's all about. Like me and you go back 2 years ago watching this kid practice, warm up at the 76ers field house, and now we're watching this kid get ready, to take center stage with the Sixers, possibly start, be on a very good team. This is what it's all about. This is like exactly what we do, why we do it. So I'm just excited to see Shake play, man. I am. I love these kind of guys like Shake Milton. Watch these guys that fight for everything they get through the G League, and now they got that opportunity. I just hope he seizes it. Brock, any final thoughts on Shake Milton?
I said it once in the show, but I'll say it again. You don't put Sniper Shake in your Twitter handle if you weren't telling the truth. When I think about other players like can't guard Mike with the New Orleans Saints, he's not lying. You can't guard him. If you have that much confidence, I have confidence in you. I'm expecting a big year out of Shake Milton. You guys talked about it. A pipeline Sixers player. He went through the Delaware factory of players, and we all had the opportunity to see and watch his growth. So we're all fans of Shake Milton at the Painted Lines, and I'm hoping for the best.
I thought you were about to say, nobody puts Shake in a corner or something like that. That's where I thought you were going. Justin, final thoughts.
Something I love about Shake Milton is he really did fight against adversity. He got injured, what was it, twice? In his first year rookie season, he injured his hand, then he got injured his knee. He's gone through it, and he's been benched a few times for Furkan, been benched a few times for other guys too. So I'm really excited to see what happens with him. I love the adversity of the guy. I love his mental. I love his game. So we'll see what happens.
Jason?
Chris, you said it. This is why we continue to love doing this. It's guys like him, watching them grow, seeing that glimpse, maybe before other people see it, of what someone's potential is, celebrating that, trying to amplify that stuff. And then the reason I was late, I was on another interview. I was doing an interview, and I talked about the moment during his rookie year where he was on a 2-way contract, and he would be on the deep bench. And we'd get to that moment in the fourth quarter where the Sixers might be up, comfortably. And I would say in the media section, let's shake it up. I want to see him play because, I just watched him drop 30 the night before in Delaware. I want to give this guy some time.
Mm-hmm.
To watch him go from somebody who had a fractured vertebrae in his final year to going into a training camp, a G League training camp, giving us the time to really talk with us, giving us thoughtful answers from that G League training camp on to watching him get a 4-year contract in the NBA and then thrive. It's just been great. And he's got the demeanor, he's got the maturity. Again, if he builds the NBA level lower body explosion, the sky's the limit for the guy.
I was just thinking like how different it was to see when we were covering the Blue Coats. You saw Shake Milton just thrive in the pick and roll under Connor Johnson. Then next year you saw, remember that guy, Xavier Munford? We're like, nah, man. Like,
I got a lot of heat from the Blue Coats. 4 games in, I'm like, not a point guard. And they did not like that at all. They did not like that at all.
I think something as well with like comparing point guards as well. You can tell somebody in the G League just if they're going to be able to end up making it just on how easy it is for people. Like, I mean, you look at Shayok. Shayok, he scored in the G League, obviously, but a lot of his scores, those were tough buckets. Like the buckets he was getting were tough buckets. Like he was there a lot of off the dribble, a lot of shooting in people's faces. But when you watch Shake down there, Shake made it look easy. He was smooth with it, and that's how you knew he was going to be effective in the NBA, in my opinion.
Well said. Well said. I didn't know you watched the Blue Coats, man. You're speaking to my heart. I love it. Matt Szymanski says Shake has everything to be 6th man of the year candidate. You go like we said earlier. 4 6th man of the year guys under Doc Rivers in LA. So Lou Williams, Crawford. Who knows? Who knows what is in the future in the cards for Shake Milton? Brock, what do you want to plug, man?
All right, check out the Painted Lines YouTube channel first and foremost. That's where my content and everybody else's content here is. My YouTube channel is just my name, Brock Landis, and my Twitter, which is my name on StreamYard, @LandisBrock. I appreciate you having me, Chris.
Love it. Love it. What about you, Justin?
My Twitter's right there, J_Persichetti. I help out with YouTube stuff on the Painted Lines. Go follow me on Twitter @the Painted Lines as well because I post a lot on there.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, come check us out.
JB, anything?
I just want to thank everybody that comes on,
Yes.
interacts with us, watches us live, gives us comments. Just thank you to everyone. It's really cool to see. It's a thrill ride many times where we're navigating all of your comments and all of your interactions. So really do appreciate it. Tell your friends. We try to have a good time. We really do watch what you're commenting while we're live. And thanks to everyone. Appreciate it.
Period. This channel has absolutely exploded over the last few weeks. Just so incredibly humble. So incredibly humble. Thank you everyone here that's already subscribed. If you're new to the channel and you like Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, we're going to be live streaming all the time, including tomorrow night during the Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers game. Not as fun as this, guys. Not as fun as this. I'm going to be honest.
I don't know. Jordan Howard might go off.
Those are like essentially therapy sessions while it's almost like we laugh at the point.
I'm staying far away from that.
Oh man, painful. But yeah, come join us tomorrow night I think we're going to start around 3:45 p.m. East Coast time for the Eagles versus the Packers. Comment with us, drink with us, laugh with us, cry with us, throw up with us, all the above. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Something I want to add quick that I'm going to start doing on Twitter is and I did it for this, but make sure go follow the Painted Lines. I'm going to start posting teasers before these previews come out of Sixers players to see if y'all can guess who we're going to come on and talk about. So I will give hints out and everything like that a little bit before the show, probably the day before. I'll give you a hint maybe 2. We'll see what happens. But go follow the Twitter at The Painted Lines and look out for those. I did want to shout out the person who got it right today.
Who was it?
Damn it. I got to find it again. My
All right,
bad.
take your time. Gary Cowley Jr. says, I just subscribed. Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Oh, man, it means everything. It means everything. Any luck on that, Justin?
Yes, I have it right now. It is just another Meg _M_moon. So she got it right. I think she may have cheated. I think she saw the post and then put it on there. But
Oh man,
it's all right. Next time we'll make sure to post in advance, a little bit more advanced, so y'all can get your guesses in. But yeah, go follow us on Twitter. Yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone, for Jason, for Justin, for Brock, for myself. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
Stay solid.